Hi, we're now at the end of May, so it was time for another video. I hope you're all having the nice start to your half term here in the UK. Life just seems to fly past, doesn't it? We're at the end of May already this year. In my last video, we talked about the barriers to working with the school library across the curriculum, and we talked a little bit about time. If you haven't seen that video already, then do go back and have a look at it. But along with that, I then posed more questions on Twitter. Seems to be a good place for me to find out what school librarians and teachers are after. And one of the things that I posted was something about if I was to create some short 10-minute how-to videos, what people would be interested in. And I thought you might find it more interesting to hear the ideas that people came up with. I'd love to hear in the comments what you think, if you feel that this would be a good idea. So some of the comments, I'm going to read them out because there's quite a big list. How to conduct inquiry-based tasks. Particularly using a physical library. I think that's an interesting one. So we're not talking about necessarily the online resources at this point, but just how would you go about setting up an inquiry using the library? What does planning with the school librarian look like? What would teachers have to, what time would they have to give up in order to plan with the librarian, and what would the benefits be? How would you go about deciding what skills were needed? So say you're a year 7 teacher, how do you work with the librarian to work out what skills are needed? Who teaches what? I like that one, because obviously teachers are used to being in the classroom on their own. If a school librarian comes in to support, how do you get that balance? What's the co-teaching like? Some teachers co-teach really well. I've worked alongside some fantastic teachers who just knew when it was time to jump in and share their knowledge, whilst also allowing me as the librarian to get on with what I was supposed to be there for. So that's a good one. The librarian in the classroom. So that's a little bit who teaches what, but the librarian in the classroom as opposed to the librarian being in the library, how does that work and look? Finding and using resources. So links a little bit back to the top one, which was talking about using the physical library. But that could be a combination, couldn't it, of the books, but using your library catalogue to find the resources, and also some online journals, I suppose, as well. So that's an interesting one. Reading for learning. What does reading for learning look like? I think that would be more than 10 minutes, because I think we're talking about reading across the curriculum. I did do a training session on reading for learning, so if you're interested in that one, then do take a look at the reading for learning on demand that I have available. Critical thinking, another big one, something that needs unpacking, maybe for a later date. Creating bibliographies. This feels a little bit more like a how-to, the kind of thing that your school librarian could teach, but we could go into that. Presentations. Now, is this presentations for the school librarians? Is this presentations for teaching students how to present? I'll need to have a bit more of a think of that one. Self and peer assessment and reflections. Again, that's more of a skill, isn't it? So that's the kind of thing that students need to be able to do. Library lesson ideas. Okay, so that's huge. And I could be talking for hours about different library lessons, but maybe we could do 1 or 2 every time I talk, maybe. Documenting the experience. I don't know what that is. Look at book writing. Okay, so keeping a journal, I think, is that one was all about. Another one is processing books. So for brand new library staff, that was a request. Possibly it's something that I can look into. And And interestingly, the final one I've written down is organisational context. How does the school librarian fit in? Literally last Monday night, I recorded a session with 3 people who were more than willing to share what they thought about the librarian's role and the organisational context. So you should go back and have a look at that one. That one was called The Golden Thread of the School Library, or Librarian, I think it was. So those are the kind of things I'm thinking about. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is that a good idea? Do you have anything else that you'd like me to talk about? What's coming up, very briefly, I'm going to start a monthly podcast with Daryl Turian, who is the creator of Fossil, which is a framework of skills for inquiry learning. And on a monthly basis, we are going to discuss the different discussions really that are going on in the forum on the Fossil Group website. Hopefully we'll have a few guests to come and tell us how they're using Fossil, but this is all to be unpacked and worked out as we go on. So that's exciting. My final session for the training this school year is on Tuesday morning. I'm very excited because I have a new grandchild imminent, so I'm trying to get all my training and stuff done before the new arrival. As always, I'm available to chat if you are interested in my membership. If you want to talk to me about what's going on in your school library, I'm free and available. Well, I'm not free, you have to pay me, but I'm available to talk. Please do, share your thoughts and ideas with me, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for listening.